Welcome back to Rowdy Sports, and we're talking about the first day of knockouts in the brackets that have been built. So the first day of knockouts is Canada versus South Africa, and let's take a gander at these brackets. So Canada, South Africa, Netherlands, Morocco. So whoever wins the Netherlands-Morocco game and Canada-South Africa game, they go to face each other. Germany, Paraguay, France, Sweden. Then those four teams, whoever wins those the matches out of those two matches, go on and play each other. Same story for Belgium, Senegal, USA versus Bosnia. I think it's going to be Spain, DR Congo, and Portugal versus Croatia. Or maybe it's Spain, Algeria. I think it's Spain, Algeria, right? Spain, Austria. Who do DR Congo play? They play England. Oh, wow. All right. Well, Spain versus Austria, Portugal versus Croatia. Can only imagine that no goals will ever be scored in that Croatia-Portugal game because neither of those teams are fucking good. Doesn't matter. Brazil versus Japan, Ivory Coast versus Norway. I'm predicting, this is a crazy one, but I am predicting that Japan beat Brazil. So, keep your eye out. Mexico, Ecuador, that's going to Pens. And England versus DR Congo. It's a game of second half goals right there. Switzerland versus... Who the fuck are Switzerland playing here? Algeria. And I am definitely throwing a bet at Aouar and Riyad Mahrez for sure on that game. And Colombia versus Ghana. I'm going to bet Colombia beat the fuck out of Ghana on that one. Especially after their showing today. Jesus Christ. Antoine Semenyo. It doesn't matter. Austria versus Egypt. And Argentina versus Cape Verde. Argentina have the easiest run into the finals. Let's play that out for a second. Oh, we'll play that out after we talk about Canada versus South Africa, since it's the game that's going to be happening. Who am I betting in this game? I'm looking at Jonathan David and Clyde Laren to maybe get shots on goal here. If you really want to step it up, put a Buchanan goal in there and get like a ×5 multiplier. Do I think it's going to happen? Probably not. I do shots on target or shots total for Laren and David, though. I want South Africa to win here, might I add. Mainly because I think that neither of these teams have made it past the first knockout in any World Cup. But man, it would be super cool to see. Everyone's like, I want Canada to win. I don't fucking want them to win. All because of that curling shit in the Olympics. Those cheats deserve to lose. All right, I want South Africa to get it. And I'm going to predict a Makopa, Makopa to get a goal. I don't know how you say that name, but I'm predicting him to get that goal to win. All right, let's look at these brackets for a second and talk about who we think is going to take it out. All right, so if South Africa win, they're probably going to play... that dude predicted that the Netherlands are going all the way, and I just don't see it. I mean, they do have an easy run for the first two games, maybe. Morocco is a great team, but they're pretty one-dimensional on that right-hand side with Brahim Diaz and Ashraf Hakimi, and then playing into Sabarini up top. I mean, it's a pretty one-dimensional offense / defense. They just beat people up and try to get it out on the right and do it all on the right. And that may work, but Netherlands are a pretty complete team, especially with Brian Brobby starting to tick, and he is starting to tick. That 24-year-old can smash. Now, here's where I see the issue for the Netherlands. Because if they move on and get to the round of 16, and they pass the round of 16 and get to the quarterfinals, they have to play one of Germany, France, or Sweden. I don't see Paraguay making it past the first round. Riddle me crazy. which probably means that Germany and France will play each other, which probably means that France will move on from the quarterfinal. Do I want that to happen? Fuck no, I want Germany to win. But play with our minds, not our hearts. So if France move on, that means that they play the Netherlands. And there's no chance on God's green earth that fucking Netherlands team top France. There's no way. There's just no fucking way. It just won't happen. That'd be lunacy. Moving on to the next set of brackets, we'll talk about Belgium, Senegal, USA, Bosnia, Spain, Algeria. I keep looking back at the board. Spain, Algeria, and Portugal, Croatia. Now, I think that the Portugal-Croatia game is going to go to penalties, and maybe Portugal take it on penalties. Do I think Portugal can beat Spain? No, I do not. I do not think that Portugal can beat Spain. I think that both teams have sucked. I think both teams will take it to penalties, and I think Spain will just get it out on that one. On the flip side, I think that Belgium beats Senegal. Not emphatically. I think it's like 3-2 in overtime. Like it gets taken above the 90-minute mark. And I think USA just dog walk Bosnia 3-1, maybe 4-1 even, actually. I don't know why, but I just think that maybe Edin Dzeko gets a goal at most. But Bosnia haven't looked like they've been on fire, you know what I mean? Like they just, they battered their way in. Man, their group fucking sucked, bro, all right? If Canada's their top, like, that wasn't a good group. So then Belgium versus USA, maybe. KDB has not looked up to it, but Romelu Lukaku has started to tick, so that kind of gets me nervous, especially with Leandro Trossard starting to tick. Do I think the USA can win here? I believe. Do I think they'll do it? No, I don't. So we'll say the USA win, but because I'm a fucking crazy person and they go on to play Spain, that's a loss there. All right, so moving on to Brazil, Japan, Ivory Coast, Norway, and Ecuador, Mexico, England, DR Congo. Now, I'm going to have some spicy takes on this one. I think Japan beat Brazil, and I don't know why, but I feel it in my heart, and I know it in my mind. I've seen what I've saw, and I can't unsee it. Nakamura is going to get it done. These Japanese players are going to go down in legend, I believe. They're my dark horse within this tournament. And if they can beat Brazil, I think that win takes them on to, maybe even taking on England, which we'll get to in a second. But then they have like Norway, right? Because Norway is going to beat the Ivory Coast. Erling Haaland is going to get it done. But then there's that match, the Japan-Norway match, right? I think this is a very tough game for Norway, and I think it gets taken to the brink, and I think this is where you see Norway's heartbreak. I think Japan can beat Norway if they beat Brazil. And I know that sounds fucking nuts with how incredible Erling Haaland's been, but it's just what I think, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. Mexico, Ecuador, and England, DR Congo. So Mexico is going to beat Ecuador because Ecuador cannot fucking score from their striker position, and Mexico clearly can. I like Ecuador, and I'm Piero Hincapie's got a fat ass, you know what I'm saying, and I like that, and I just don't think they can beat Mexico, especially in Mexico. It's just going to be rowdy as fuck in that stadium, and it's just going to be gnarly. And I think Mexico push. England, DR Congo. I think DR Congo score first, but England win. Would that be crazy? Maybe. But I think England win here and they move on to face Mexico. Now, this is where it gets shifty. I think Mexico get really dirty on the ball if they can't score, and they'll start fouling players. And England like to play like that, where they just frustrate a team into making bad mistakes and putting them into scoring positions. Especially with ball players like Declan Rice and Bukayo Saka starting to tick. This is a game, that's a game for them, right? So they are probably going to win 1-0, maybe 2-1 or 1-1 after penalties. And then they go on to face Japan. You know, if Japan face England, I think they can beat England. Because England have looked wishy-washy this whole tournament. So, be interesting to see, to say the least. And then Switzerland, Austria? No. No, that's the Switzerland-Algeria game. Austria play against Spain. Doesn't change my opinion. All right. Switzerland versus Algeria, and Colombia versus Ghana. Austria versus Egypt. Argentina versus Cape Verde. Let's be real quick. Algeria are going to beat Switzerland. They got them guns in them. I'll believe it. Colombia are going to beat Ghana. It's going to be like a 1-0 game kind of thing. Maybe 2-1. It's going to be really long, though. Like into the 120th minute, and then they finally get their second goal. You know what I mean? There's no way it doesn't go past the 90 in my mind. So they move on. We'll say Algeria and Colombia move on. Austria versus Egypt, and Argentina versus Cape Verde. We don't need to talk about the second one. Argentina win. Probably by 20, we'll say. Even though that Cape Verde goalkeeper is a monster, he's going to get smashed, though, against Messi. It just is what it is. And Messi's on fire. It is what it is. He came off the bench and scored tonight. Australia versus Egypt. You know, as much as I like the Australians, I want Egypt to win here, and I think they will. And then Messi versus Mo Salah, and I don't think Salah's got the legs anymore, and Messi does for some reason. So Argentina are going to move on to that. Colombia are going to beat Algeria, so it's going to be Colombia versus Argentina, and that's going to be a wild game. So if Argentina face Colombia and move on, I wish that I could fill in these brackets and talk to you along the way, but that's going to be our quarterfinals. So our quarterfinals, in my mind, are going to be France and the Netherlands going on to USA versus Spain, going on to Japan versus England, going on to Argentina versus Colombia, right? So if we look at that from that perspective, we'll go... Man, France beat Netherlands. Boom. They're going on to the semis. They then play... Man, fuck, god damn it. And then Spain beat us. God damn it. So it's Spain versus France. Japan beat England. Argentina beat Colombia. So Japan versus Argentina, and then Spain versus France. You know, we could see a France-Argentina World Cup again. Oh God. Argentina are gonna win it. Remember to like, follow, and subscribe.